The battle for your attention is no longer just on TV. It is happening inside YouTube feeds, TikTok scrolls, and Instagram Reels. For millions of people, news is not something you tune into at night. It is something that finds you all day. And the biggest shift is generational. Younger adults are far more likely to treat social platforms as their front page. But traditional news is not gone. TV, radio, and legacy outlets still matter a lot, especially when people want trust, depth, and confirmation. So how many people are really using YouTube and social media as their primary news source compared with traditional news? That is what we are unpacking. Start with platform size. Pew Research says 84% of U.S. adults use YouTube at all, making it the most widely used online platform in America. About half of U.S. adults say they visit YouTube daily. 1/3 say they use it several times a day. That does not mean all of them use it for news, but around 1/3 of Americans now regularly get news on YouTube. Pew found that YouTube news use rose from 23% in 2020 to 32% in 2024. By 2025, that number reached 35%. Facebook still slightly leads in regular social news use overall at 38%. YouTube is right behind at 35%. Instagram and TikTok each sit at 20% for regular news use among U.S. adults. X is lower at 12%. Here is the key distinction. Regularly getting news somewhere is not the same as calling it your primary source. Still, the pattern is strong. In a 2024 Pew study, 46% of U.S. adults under 30 said social media was their most common source for political news. Only 10% of adults under 30 said TV was their primary source for political news. That is a dramatic reversal from older generations. Think of it like a highway system. Traditional news built the roads. Social platforms became the busiest on-ramps. Traditional news still dominates for many older adults. Among Americans aged 65 and up, 63% say TV is their main source for political news. That gap is huge. Under 30, social media leads. Over 65, television still rules. Why does TV keep its grip? Habit matters. So does presentation. Anchors, segments, and live coverage feel structured in a way feeds often do not. Radio and print also still play a role. They are smaller than before, but loyal audiences continue to rely on them for routine updates and deeper context. And there is one area where traditional media still has a major edge: trust. Gallup says overall confidence in newspapers, television, and radio news is historically low in the U.S. Just 28% express trust. That sounds terrible, and it is. But social platforms are often rated even worse when people are asked about accuracy and impartiality. Ofcom found that in the UK, online news sources are now used as widely as TV news. Yet TV and radio still score better on trust and accuracy. So the shift is not simply old media losing and new media winning. It is more like speed beating stability in a daily tug of war. YouTube is not just another app. It combines search, subscriptions, recommendations, live streams, clips, podcasts, and commentary in one place. Traditional news asks you to come to a channel at a set time. YouTube meets you when you are ready, or when the algorithm thinks you are. That flexibility matters. Some people want a 2-minute recap. Others want a 40-minute breakdown. YouTube serves both. It also blurs the line between journalist, commentator, expert, and influencer. Legacy outlets and independent creators now compete side by side. That makes the experience feel personal. You are not just watching the news, you are watching your news person. A breaking story can show up as a local TV clip, a newspaper explainer, a live stream, and a creator reaction within the same feed. And a lot of news on social platforms is discovered by accident. People go in for entertainment, then run into headlines on the way. This is why social platforms can become a primary source without feeling like one. They turn news into a background habit. The same system that delivers speed and convenience can also reward outrage, shortcuts, and low-quality information. The strongest social-first behavior shows up among younger people. Pew found 46% of adults under 30 mostly use social media for political news. Among adults aged 30 to 49, that falls to 23%. Among ages 50 to 64, it drops to 7%. For adults 65 and older, just 3% mostly use social media for political news. That is not a trend gap, that is a different media world. Even inside social media, the mix changes by group. Among Americans aged 18 to 29, 41% regularly get news on YouTube and 43% on TikTok. YouTube stands out because it reaches both younger and older users better than TikTok. Even 25% of adults 65 and up regularly get news there. Pew also found Black, Hispanic, and Asian Americans are more likely than white Americans to regularly get news from YouTube. There are gender differences too. Men are more likely than women to regularly get news on YouTube, while women lead on Facebook and TikTok. The takeaway is not that one platform replaced everything, it is that different groups are building different news habits at the same time. For decades, a primary news source was easy to name. Maybe the evening news, maybe a newspaper, maybe talk radio on the drive home. Now the answer is messy. Someone can discover a headline on TikTok, verify it on YouTube, and read details from a newspaper site. So primary might mean the first place you hear it, or the place you trust most, or the place you spend the most time. Social platforms increasingly win discovery. Traditional outlets still often win verification, especially during elections, crises, and breaking events. This hybrid model helps explain the contradiction. People say they use social media for news, but they may still trust a legacy brand to confirm it. In other words, social media often owns attention. Traditional media still fights to own authority. These numbers come mainly from Pew Research Center, Gallup, and Ofcom. Together, they show behavior is shifting fast, even while trust lags behind. The next question is not whether social platforms matter. That argument is over. The real question is, who shapes the news people see there? Expect more news organizations to build for YouTube first. Expect more creators to act like newsrooms. Expect more overlap between the two. Traditional outlets are adapting because they have to. Audiences are not waiting at the TV anymore. They are scrolling. Still, the fundamentals of good journalism do not change. Verification matters. Context matters. Corrections matter. That means the audience now has a bigger job too. On social media, every viewer is also a curator. So yes, YouTube and other social platforms are becoming a primary news source for a huge share of people, especially the young. But traditional news still anchors trust for many Americans. Where do you get your news first? YouTube, TikTok, X, TV, podcasts, or old-school websites? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you trust and what you only use for headlines. If you want more breakdowns on media, technology, and the way platforms shape what we believe, subscribe and stick around.